We've just seen Chevrolet's sales in China, and they've gone down by 91%. 91%. Actually, Chevrolet is probably going to cease to exist in China within 12 months. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, so we've just seen General Motors car sales in China, which they continue to shrink. Surprisingly, they only came down by 5% over the last 3 months. Now, the reason that General Motors sales in China only came down by 5% over the last 3 months, which is amazing when you can have a look at their shocking performance over the last 5 years, is because sales of their EVs, their Buick badged EVs, have gone up significantly. The only part of GM's business that has grown in China is EV sales. If General Motors had have actually done what they should have done, not been morons and stuck their heads in the sand, I mean, EVs have been growing in China now for many, many years. GM just ignored it and tried to profit from internal combustion, just like a stupid fossil fuel company, ignoring the future. And now it's turning around and biting them in the backside. If you actually have a look at what General Motors have done here, it's epically stupid. I mean, there are no Chevrolet EVs you can buy currently right now in America. And as a result, the brand has collapsed. I mean, have a look at these sales. 2014. 770,000 Chevrolet vehicles were sold in China in 2014. Now, sales went down a bit over that period of time, but not too much. I mean, fast forward to 2018. So only just over 5 years ago, sales were 673,000. Now, 2022 sales were 223,000. 2023, they were under 200,000. And this year, Chevrolet has sold 18,000 cars for the first 3 months of the year. So if we extrapolate that 18,000 and just say that they're going to sell 70,000 for the year, and they probably won't, probably be less than that, I think. Let's just say it's 70,000. That would mean GM sales have gone down in the space of 10 years by 91%. 91%. 673,000 in 2018 to 70,000 in 2024. Now, it might be worse than that. To be honest, their sales are shrinking so quickly. I mean, to give you some context, Chevrolet sales actually went down by 46% over the first quarter of this year versus the first quarter of last year. The company, the brand may cease to completely exist in China altogether. What's surprising about this is GM's success with their part ownership of basically electric car companies in China. I mean, the General Motors Wuling and SAIC, so the Chinese government partnership with GM, isn't that weird? General Motors are in bed with the Chinese government, being bailed out by the American government in 2014. Such a bizarre scenario. But anyhow, yeah, the mind boggles. That venture with Wuling, SAIC, and GM has been growing because it primarily focuses on electrification. Now, if you have a look at Buick sales, they have fallen as well significantly. Buick delivered 103,000 vehicles in the first quarter, which is a hell of a lot more than Chevrolet. But Buick sales, Buick used to be the biggest car manufacturer in China. GM produces and sells Chevrolet, Buick, and Cadillac cars and light trucks through its SAIC, owned by the government, General Motors joint partnership. Its passenger vehicle partnership with SAIC Motor Group is declining. And there was reports from Reuters saying that SAIC are going to lay off thousands of employees that work in this partnership with General Motors because GM sales have gone down so much. Now, this is the part of the business that's grown, right? SAIC GM Wuling, they increased their sales by 1% to 286,000, but their sales increased as well last year and the previous year. And here's the other part. I mean, electric vehicle sales have grown in contrast to the decline in GM's overall sales. Deliveries of its electrified vehicles in China grew sharply in the first quarter of the year. Its two joint ventures delivered more than 128,000 EVs, a surge of 43%. In the past 2 years, SAIC GM has introduced 3 Ultium-based EV models, the Cadillac Lyriq plus the Buick Electra 5 and the Electra 4 crossovers. As a result of the expanded electrified lineup, sales of EV models at SAIC GM, which also include the Buick Velite 6 sedan and Chevrolet Menlo crossover, spiked by 80% in the first quarter. Now here's the thing. Because GM makes so few EVs, their sales are still going down significantly in China. And this is a big problem, because GM only has 2 car markets. Yeah, GM sells cars elsewhere, but it really only has 2 car markets for the majority of its sales worldwide, China and North America. And it seems to me it's just a matter of time before General Motors loses China. It has invested, tens of billions of dollars in China, and it's only a few years from now, maybe 4 or 5 years, before all of that will be completely wasted. Yes, it's going to keep its tri-venture with Wuling, which makes a very small amount of profit. Maybe it will have a few, maybe 50,000 EV sales a year or something like that. But either way, General Motors has been reduced from the biggest car maker and the most profitable car maker in China to one of the least significant ones. And that didn't need to happen. Now, at the same time, while this has all been going on, Mary Barra has made more money than any other automotive CEO in the world that actually, is an employee, not someone who owns part of the company. Based on performance, why is that? Really, if you worked at a company and you were responsible for the company's sales and the sales went down by 50%, would it be fair to double your pay to the point where you're making $40 million a year? That doesn't add up. Thanks for watching.